Once upon a time, a jackal lived in a burrow in a small hill. During the rainy season, the hill went underwater. The jackal was worried about his food and shelter. Then he left for another hill where there were a large number of trees. He hoped that many birds might be living some on some of those trees. After reaching the hill, the jackal soon found such a tree. There were a number of birds in the tree. They had a king who was old and simple minded. The jackal made his body muddy so that the looked very executed and tired. He pretended to be hurt and stayed under the tree for a few days. One day the king of birds asked the jackal, "What happened to you?" The jackal said, "I saved many birds and their young ones too, who were fighting for life in the flood. My friends, the other jackal, got annoyed at me for saving the praise and asked me leave them immediately." Listening to that, the king was happy and made the jackal and protector of the birds. The jackal was very happy. Now every day he made one wavy bird his food. One day the bird king asked the jackal, "Why is my kingdom losing baby birds every day?" The jackal said, "It may be due to the flood which has almost touched the branches of the tree." After a few days, the bird king understood that the jackal had played a trick to get his prey. He once again asked the jackal, "What happened to the all birds in my kingdom?" The jackal then said, "I have eaten all the birds, and now it's your turn." Saying so, the jackal pounced on the bird king and killed him. In a city, in a city of Italy, there lived a poor shoemaker. He worked at great skill making fine leather shoes and sandals. His daughter Carla helped in the shop by polishing the shoes until they shone. One day the shoemaker loaded a wagon with goods and hitched up his only horse. "Shoemaker, wish me luck, Carla. I am going to the market and hope to return before dark with my pockets filled with coins." Carla, "Good luck, Papa. Do come back soon. I will have the rest of the shoe polished by the time you come back." Wait, my good fellow. I see you do fine work, very fine. I indeed. At the shoemaker with a sly grin, "How much everything?" Shoemaker, 20 coppers pieces for everything. Merchant, it is a deal. Here's the money. Now, sit down and be on your way. Shoemaker, what is this? Merchant, come now, my dear fellow. Let's not argue. You did agree to sell me everything, did not you, Shoemaker? Well, well as bad. Merchant, I take you at your word. Everything includes your wagon and your horse. After all, deal. If you don't agree with me, we will go before the judge. There's one just down the stairs. Judge, did you agree to sell everything, Shoemaker? Well as well as yes, but Judge, then a deal. At you must do. You agreed. The shoemaker walks back home with the cruel merchant's laugh ringing in his ears. When the gets home, he explains everything to his daughter Karila. Karila, oh, what a greedy person! What don't worry, Dad. I have an idea. Early next day, Karila selected six of the finest pairs of dancing sleepers the shoemaker had ever made. Let me try my luck at selling these. Young lady, you look tired. May I help you? That would be very nice indeed. How much for everything? How much will you give me, sir? These are difficult times, lady. This is all I can offer. Everything is your hand. Yes, certainly. Then it's a deal. The merchant grins slowly and slides the coins into him. Oh, thank you, sir. And I see you have the three lovely gold rings. I will have them as well as thank you. They are very colorful. What, you must be crazy. Uh, what, then you have agreed to give me everything in your hand, did not you? And remember, a deal and a deal is a deal, just the way you had a deal with my father. I was homesick during the whole of my first term, and said Peter, homesickness is a bit like seasickness. You don't know how awful it is till you get it, and when you do, it hits you right in the pit of the stomach, and you want to die. The only comfort is that both homesickness and seasickness are instantly curable. The first goes away the moment you walk out of the school grounds, and the second is forgotten as soon as the ship enters of the port. I was devastatingly homesick during my first 2 weeks that I set about devising a stunt for getting myself sent back home, even if it were only a few days. My idea was that I should all of a sudden develop an attack of acute appendicitis. You will probably think it's silly that a 9-year-old boy should imagine he could get away with a trick like that. But I had a sound reason of trying it. One, only a month before, my half sister, who was 12 years old than me, actually had appendicitis, and for several days before her operation, I was able to observe her behavior to close quarters. I noticed that the things she complained about most was a severe pain down in the lower right side of her tummy. As well as this, she kept being sick and refused to eat and run a temperature. You might, by the way, be interested to know about this. Sister had her appendix removed, not in a fine hospital operating room full of bright lights and ground nuts, what on our own nursery table at home by the local doctor and his anesthetics. In those days, it was a fairly common practice for a doctor to arrive at your own house with a bag of stimulants, then drop a sterile sheet over the most unconvenient table and get on with it. On this occasion, I can remember looking in the corridor outside the nursery while the operation was going. My other sister were with me, and we stood there spellbound, listening to the soft medical murmurs coming from behind the locked door and picturing the patient with her stomach slide open with could even smell two sickly funs either fluttering through the cracks under the door. The next day, we were allowed to inspect the appendix itself in a glass bottle. It was a longest black wormy looking things, and I said, do I have one of those inside me, nanny? Every day has one, nanny answered. What is it for? I asked her. Good works in his mysterious ways, she said, which was her stock reply whenever she did not know the answer. Thank you.